Hey everyone, welcome to Roll Call, the show where two childless millennials gush over their favorite actors and actresses and follow their journey from the very beginning throughout their blockbuster hits.
Yes, but today we aren't talking about movies. We're talking about CDs.
Yes. Oh, you remember those kids? CDs?
Or albumins, things you stream on apps these days.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Bria, for redirecting that intro. I just kind of like started off with a roll. But yes, today, welcome to Roll Call, everyone, and you are in for yet another not so mini episode on truly, Jennifer Lopez at this point is just the gift that keeps on giving. We've had many, many episodes now where we've gotten the opportunity to talk about her music career and personal life. And so we are going to take a quick break from movies and talk about two, not one, but two big albums that she released in the year 2007. Today we're going to be talking about Como Ama Una Mujer and Brave.
Yes, which, to be honest, we kind of almost skipped this whole extra bonus episode we forgot about it a little bit because for me I definitely I know the song Do It Well, but I definitely kind of wasn't paying attention to JLo at this time. So I wasn't as excited to do this as I was for the JLo album or On the Six or even This Is Me Then, which I hadn't listened to before, but we got to talk about Bennifer, so.
Oh boy.
But I'm glad that we didn't skip these albums and that we're doing it because, man, are there some gems on these albums.
Agreed. And one of these albums is extremely special because it's her first entirely written and produced album in Spanish. And so we'll definitely be talking about some of the special origins and work that went behind Como Ama Una Mujer, and then maybe some of the fun, like, dance hits, and maybe mention our favorite bald man, Mr. Worldwide.
Dale.
Dale.
All right, so should we talk about Como Ama Una Mujer first?
I would love that.
All
Let's go
right.
for it.
Yes, so this is Jennifer Lopez's fifth studio album and her first Spanish album, as you said. It was released in March, or it was released on March 23rd of 2007. I'm sure a lot of her fans who are Spanish speakers were really excited for this album finally to get a Spanish language album from Jennifer Lopez. Probably was like, chef's kiss. Because I see now a lot of Jennifer Lopez fans. She's definitely back in her Spanish language song bag, but they really want another Spanish album from her. So I can only imagine how excited they were then. This album was relatively successful. It debuted at number 10 on the US Billboard 200 chart with 48,000 copies sold in its first week. I also want to note this is a time in music where we're probably seeing the big shift of album sales teetering down from these huge numbers of like million sold or half a million sold like in the first week because of iTunes and streaming and probably LimeWire. But yeah, so 48,000 isn't a big number that we would have been used to in like the 90s or early 2000s and prior to that, of course. But nothing to blink at. Nothing to blink at, especially for a Spanish language album in the United States. It debuted inside the top 10, and JLo became the fifth artist to land in the top 10 with a Spanish language album.
Absolutely. And it was the third highest debut sales in the United States for an entirely Spanish record. So for
Wow.
coming in third um for a Spanish album in the US is pretty good in my books too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, so getting like the fussy numbers part and information out of the way, there's some interesting stuff about the creation of this album. Marc
Mm-hmm.
Anthony is very heavily involved, which kind of surprised me a little bit, but not really, because how would she do a Spanish album and not have him involved?
Right.
But he was involved in songs that I didn't expect him to be involved in, and I was like, ooh, Marc Anthony is a better man than I could ever dream to be in some aspects, because we'll get into why I think that. But some things that I noticed, there's a interview on YouTube. I don't know who it's for or why, but she talks about making the album, and there's some things that stood out to me. Like, this album is an album where she didn't write a lot of the songs herself, a la This Is Me Then, because it was in Spanish, but she had help and she wanted to make sure they understood, like, this is what I want this song to convey and stuff. So these songs may not be written by her directly, but they definitely are heavily, like, tailored to Jennifer Lopez. And she
Yes.
mentions that. She mentions, these are songs that aren't like, oh, so and so, didn't record this, give it to Jennifer, which, is an infamous
Yes,
thing
that
amongst
is
her.
the theme.
Yes, amongst her other songs. So I was like, that's a good, like, little tidbit to throw out there. And just, I feel like she also says, that this album is, like, maybe her most personal album, like, so far.
I laugh at that comment because I feel like that's something that she has said in the
Before.
past. Yeah,
But that was
especially
her then,
this is
Simone.
her now. I get it. I get it. I mean, I always feel like when you live so heavily in the moment, you're like, "Oh, this is it. Like this is
Yeah.
my like, you know, like my big wonderful creation." But then you like top it and you're like, "Oh, no, no, no. This is what it is." So that's kind of why I laugh. And I know that this album was really special. I mean, not only does it pay tribute and so much to her Latinx roots, um, but she like always wanted to record a Spanish album, and she was in the early years of her music production was kind of told not to. And I wonder if that was because, coming off of Selena, where she got her huge movie, background credits from, and kind of the jumping point to her career, and definitely the jumping point to probably help her kickstart a singing career to that. I, Tommy Mottola and the other men at B in the Epic Records production label, I wonder how many outside influencer voices she got that discouraged her from recording her first album in Spanish, just to make her maybe a little bit more appealing to a wider audience, to maybe help with some of those record sales, especially as a young and up and coming recording artist. But something that I thought about was, this is something that she's always wanted to do, but people kind of frowned upon. And I know when you're young and you're starting out in the industry, you want to be a yes person. You want
Yeah.
to make smart choices that are going to jumpstart your career. But now that she's definitely notable on the music scene and definitely noticeable in the movie world, we saw these patterns before where she had a lot of personal choice and freedoms with her movie choices and movie roles. She no longer had to take roles just for the sake of the paycheck, and she also got to pick and choose some of her cast members. So I'm glad. What I think is really special about this album is that she got to be the driving force, and she got the say to finally produce an album that was very personal, very intimate. And what's different about this album as compared to This Is Me Then, This Is Me Then, as we know, is very heavily influenced by Ben Affleck, but Ben Affleck wasn't there in the studio helping her produce and write songs and stuff. He was just on her mind, coming out from her journal pages. But this one is like a very intimate look, with how she worked with her then husband, Marc Anthony, on this album. So that's a really cool thing to make it special. You're smiling. What?
I don't know. One reason I'm really excited to talk about this album over Brave is that there are so many songs when I looked up, because I had to. I did this when I was really into Selena, still love her, still have to sometimes. But, you know, when you don't know a song in its original language, you kind of like, I at least want to know what in
Mm,
general the song's about. I might not
yeah.
be able to, in my head, sing along or outwardly sing along or translate in my mind, but I know, like, okay, this song is about this. So I did look up the lyrics to a lot of songs in English, and I don't know if it's not about Ben for once. Like,
Oh, I didn't mean that this album wasn't about Ben, but it's different in that like
she's
with
with someone else.
she's with someone else, but Ben doesn't have a background in music career. Like
Okay,
he
like Marc
definitely
Anthony does. Yeah.
yes, so he influenced This Is Me then, just like lyrics and song wise. He probably influenced some of the songs on Como Ama Una Mujer, and we'll definitely talk about that because I absolutely agree with you. But this time she gets to have kind of a more into
Collaboration.
a collab with her husband, which is cool. Not a lot of people get to do that.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, totally misunderstood that. But yeah, I think this is awesome. I also think that even though like it would have been nice for her to do what she wanted to as a artist starting out, I do think, and I hate that I have to agree with this, but I do think that it helped her in the long run to start out with English language albums and get that out the way, especially in terms of her acting career, because I feel like if she came out with Spanish albums and then she was doing acting roles, the way that she was able to play characters who were racially ambiguous wouldn't have worked as well, because people were like, but wait, she's over here singing in Spanish. And then, so, I mean, she still had Spanish songs, but it was like she could do it all, or like, so I think that this album came at a great time, especially like you said, her being able to work with Marc Anthony on it and have his expertise behind her. She points out, you know, that he helped her find her voice, you know, better, and that he was able to help tailor the songs to, you know, be good for her voice. And I do think that shows in a lot of these songs. I have said before that I think that her voice sounds better in Spanish for some
Yeah.
reason. I think it's a stretch sometimes because her voice is so soft for her to do like the hip hop kind of songs and the more, yeah, the hip hop kind of songs, even if it's an R&B song but it has like a hip hop beat to it. Like, it's, her voice isn't powerful enough sometimes to overpower the beat like a Beyonce could, or
Mm,
Mary J. Blige or Mariah
yes,
Carey. So
absolutely. I agree. I agree.
so I love those songs. Those are songs I love, but I do think Spanish, like, it just naturally works really well for her voice. Like, it's that soft, sexy, like
Yes.
free, like
Oh,
the
yeah.
songs are,
No, this whole album to me, maybe with the exception of a few songs, is very sensual.
yes.
Like it's very much bubble bath, candle, rose petal music to me. Um, which was nice. Like I found myself I mean this week has been a little hectic and stressful for me. For those who don't know by now, I'm a middle school teacher, and this was the first week back in school. And I got to listen to this album this week as I was like setting up my classroom and prepping and doing behind the scenes stuff. And I remember talking about this when we recorded our Selena episode, that like for my classes at the end of last year, I was playing Selena for our like warm up stuff. So when kids would log on to their online classes and stuff, they would always hear Selena playing. But we're back in person now. So listening to this album has been, because it's so calming and relaxing. I haven't put it on when the students come in just because I feel like it's a different mood.
Yeah.
So I would rather play Dale
They'd
and
be like,
like
is Miss Sham okay?
long sh long answer no, I'm not okay, but but like for a hype music of like coming into my classroom, I'm gonna be playing more songs from Brave than I am for Komoama for sure. For sure. But that's something that I really appreciated, with just this very like calming ballad songs. And if one time I had my door open, and our Spanish professoras on school were like, "Oh, what you listening to?" Like they popped in like, "Okay."
Look at you in here jamming out to some Spanish language music. I mean, okay, well, I mean, we've talked about the creative process a little bit. Shall we get into some of these songs?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I was listening again to the album, and I was like, okay, I gotta pull up the lyrics so that I can maybe quote some of them so while we talk about them. But it was just like song after song after song that I was just like, okay, so I have a list of songs that I think on Como Ama Mujer or Como Ama Una Mujer that could be about Ben. Possibly. I'm not sure. Maybe inspired a little bit by him and maybe some other relationships. Who knows? We'll never know. But the first one, like off bat, Que Hiciste, is totally rings my Affleck bat signal in the air. Like, mi haces falta.
Yes.
Me voy a querer. Porque te marchas sola en adios. And then I do want to point out that at a certain point, it seems like she is talking about where she is now and with Marc, and she has a song with Marc called Por Agriscarnos. And then 2 is, she said, is more so about like she imagined singing it to her future children or a child. And then I feel like there's another one that's like about just being in love. And Amarte es todo, which I think is more like her marriage and stuff rather than past relationships. But the fact that like 6 out of 12 songs could possibly be about her breakup with Ben Affleck. Ooh, JLo.
So 6 out of 12, if we do the math. I'm not a math teacher, but is that half?
That is half. By all means, that is half.
By all means, I do declare.
Bless her heart. She wrote half her album about her old boyfriend.
So I take notes when we record these mini episodes because honestly, we don't really have like a general layout for these as we do with the other ones that are a little bit more scripted. And one thing that Bria and I have been kind of obsessed with lately is the TikTok trend of like superimposing eyes and mouth reactions on top of things. And on my notebook page, Bria, I'm going to hold this up to you. I said favorite songs inspo by Ben.
And there's little eyes and mouths that are very expressive, looking around like Ben, like Ben, yes, like kind of like the seagulls in Finding Nemo.
Ben.
Okay, so Que Hiciste also has a video, which that and I believe Mi Haces Falta has they have music videos, and they're very like different from what we've gotten before from Jennifer Lopez. I really like them. They're very 2007, like they have like this dark kind of like monotone but not look to them. I don't know how to describe it, but she looks great. But let's get into some of these lyrics. Que hiciste? Which means what did you do in Spanish? And it is pretty much about like her questioning, like, what did you do to break up this like relationship, this love, all this stuff. Like I could read all the lyrics really, but like let's pick out some. Okay, so first of all, I want to say this makes me think it's about Ben because like yesterday we both dreamed of a perfect world. Yesterday our lips had too many words. So, like, obviously not now, but something in the past. Yesterday you swore to me that this love would be eternal.
Mm.
Um, Today you destroyed hope with your pride. Today you clouded my gaze with your fury. You erased all our history with your rage, and you confused so much love that I gave you with permission to break my soul. What did you do? Like, oh my
What
god.
did you do?
Like, yes. I mean, so many. Please go read these lyrics for yourself because I could really just read it all. But
Yes.
I mean, and the song is it's like one of the only like kind of upbeat songs, and it starts off the album, so that's nice. It's I would definitely like dance to this a little bit, get a little groove going. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
ballad,
Mm-hmm.
but it does have some like anger behind it, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, did this so KSC Stay um is, I would say, the song that sounds the most different
Mhm.
from all of the other ones. There's more of a guitar beat to it. It sounds a little bit more hard, maybe a little bit more angry.
It's
Maybe not angry.
spicy.
It's angsty. It's yeah, like I'm feeling I really liked listening to this album, don't get me wrong. Um but since the majority of the album does feel very sensual, very soft, or like very ballady, some songs, when you listen to it over and over again, some songs do blend together.
Mhm.
Um, and by no means is that supposed to be a statement that like Latinx Latin
No.
music like blends together or
Yeah.
sounds the same or anything. I think part of the reason is because I'm not a native Spanish speaker. Um, I did take up to year 4 conversation Spanish at St. Mary's at our college, but like, it was a fun game for me to like listen to these songs and try to be like, I can maybe decode maybe 50% of the lyrics, which I looked it up. I wasn't too off. So I was like, okay, not bad, not bad. But I think in general, like the a lot of the songs do tend to kind of blend together or sound very similar after a while after listening to so many of them. But KSC Stay definitely has its own vibe. It's its own thing. There's
Yes.
guitar, there's more drums. It's cool.
Yes, it's got like that fast, like Spanish guitar,
Yeah.
like, but yes, I mean, I'm here for give me all the tea in your Spanish songs that I have to decode. It's like a game, which
Oh, it's like a codex game where you're like you have to like
yes,
yeah.
which you know what, like I feel like at this point we also had a little bit of TikTok beef. Well, I did, but I just want to say that at this point, I feel like people who are casual fans of Jennifer Lopez or not fans of her but have criticisms of her, I feel like I'm pretty I for myself, I don't really hate anyone like who's a celebrity or there are definitely people I'm like pass on that, but I don't have like these strong opinions of them as if I like really like a fan would, But I feel like if you're not a fan or you haven't at least done your hater research and been like, I'm a hate accurately, then you might want to hold off your opinions because, like, people were like, oh, I think her and Ben Affleck are PR and I think it's fake. Baby, she, like I said, she wrote a whole album about him in English and then she wrote half an album about him in Spanish. Like,
Yep.
I don't know if that's PR. Like, I think she was really in love with him. So, I mean, who's to say if Bennifer 2.0 is PR? But I like, why would you dredge up those feelings just for publicity? Like, okay, and get your kids involved. But moving on to the next song on the album and music video, "Mi haces falta,"
Mm-hmm.
which I mean, the first line is "Why are you leaving me?"
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah, so me haces falta, just the title of the song alone can roughly translate to I miss you or I need you or I'm like lacking you in some kind of way, but it's basically just kind of like yeah, automatically the title of the song you get something of like I'm missing you. Where are you?
I mean, this line, your love is going to kill me because you took everything. Give me love back. Give me back the heat. Give me back my life.
Mm-hmm.
Please return to calm the pain that your departure left. Please to tell because to tell the truth, I cannot be one more day alone. I mean, it's just heartbreaking. And it's so much more heartbreaking and beautiful because it's in Spanish, which Jennifer Lopez mentions in an interview with Billboard. She says that I love the deep, intense, passionate way of expressing yourself in those kinds of songs. And it's really not something that lends itself to English music and not something I'd been able to tap into before. And I think that is absolutely true. If these songs were in English, obviously a lot more people would know that her relationship with Ben Affleck really fucked her up.
Oh,
And
yeah, girl. She works it hard on her therapy for this one. But the chorus alone, yes, I need you. I need you. I remember you. I miss you. I feel you in my soul.
yes, it's it is
I'm the
intense.
I'm the eyes looking around like, huh.
yeah, well, I mean, so much to say. But I think that being in Spanish, it does like make it way more beautiful in a way. And I've seen TikToks of someone translating songs in Spanish, and sometimes they're like about the most randomest things, but it's a bop. Like,
But it's a bop, and that's like the, a huge a major difference between songs in English and songs in Spanish is that in songs in Spanish, it's more about like,
a feeling, I feel like.
yeah,
And
I agree. It's more about a feeling and a mood or a vibe of a song. How in English, it's about rhyming words together to make sense to get your point across or to get your feelings across
yeah, it
in
used
some
to be
way.
about that. Not so much anymore because half the time I'm like, what are they talking about?
Well, back in our day, well, like I
Like the
mean,
Migos? Who knows what the fuck that they're talking about half the time? Like,
who knows? Good point, good point. But I mean, at least with the music that I listen to,
all the ad libs, sorry.
yeah, at least with like the music that I listen to, it's I don't know. I mean, it's still a mood, but it's definitely more about like the lyrics and the lyrics tying together to make a point. But with this album, I felt like, and then with just in albums in general and in other languages, they don't worry about putting the lyrics together to rhyme necessarily. They just put lyrics together to tell a story, to create this mood setting.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I feel about like alt in rock. Like sometimes I'm like, I don't know what the hell Smells Like Teen Spirit is really about, but it is a
Girl,
vibe.
as you
Like,
are.
or like Rape Me? Like, why do I like this song? But it's a vibe. Like, it is what it is. Like, can I tell you what Kurt Cobain meant? No. But for the most part, it's a good song. Like, and I'm sure somebody can tell you what he meant or like has deciphered, Nirvana songs and stuff. But
Sure, sure,
as a
sure.
casual fan, I don't know. Like, but okay, so like I said, I think that there are multiple songs that are about Ben Affleck. I want to point out though that Mi Haces Falta, um, Jennifer Lopez says to MTV in an article by Jason Rodriguez that it's basically about someone who's missing someone so much and has done something so wrong to the person that they know they can't fix it. So they just hate themselves right in that moment. They can't stand it. They regret everything that they did and they wish they could change things. It's basically about missing somebody terribly. The concept is basically I am somebody who can't be with somebody because of what I do and what he does. So there is a kind of hopelessness and helplessness in the fact that they can't be together because of their lives, their lifestyles, and it's that huge obstacle we wanted to put in the video where they actually could not be together, which makes them miss each other so much.
Are you fucking kidding me? She could not have made that any more obvious. You're joking. People. Do you think, okay, I might be getting ahead of myself. You can say, Simone, pinpoint this question. We'll come back to it later. And already I have so much green on my hand from like writing down notes and like showing Bria what my hand looks like right now. Question. Do you think at any time in the recording studio, Marc Anthony was like, huh? Or do you think he was oblivious and he's just like, yes, you sound great. This is awesome. I'm having fun producing this album. But it's like, it's the lyrics sheet page that are watching Jennifer Lopez as she is recording this song that are like, you fucking idiot. This song's not about you.
No, because I think Marc Anthony is a smart man, and I think he knew. And I just want to point out also that Que Hiciste, Jennifer Lopez said that Marc actually had a dream about the melody of that song, and that he helped like jumpstart that song. And she was with a girlfriend, and she's like, oh, I know what this song needs to be about. And I was like, I bet you do, JLo. I bet you do. Like, she's like, it has to be about this, relationship, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, so when I was listening to this the first go round, I tweeted and I was like, I had the same thoughts. I was like, damn, like I said earlier, like Marc Anthony is a better man than I would have been in that situation, because I feel like it's very obvious she wasn't over Ben Affleck. Even Rebirth, she had 2 songs that I think were about Ben. He'll Be Back, and I'm blanking on, I Can't Believe This Is Me, which Marc also helped produce that song. So okay. I think that he is very aware, and I feel like this is where Marc Anthony like is the catch that he is in a way, is that he's very confident and sure of himself, I feel like. And he could not be, because he's not like a model. He is attractive in his own Marc Anthony way. He's not super tall or anything. I think he's just a little shorter than JLo. He could be very insecure, and maybe he is. I don't know him. But, it takes someone who is secure enough to, one, marry her after Bennifer implodes.
True.
Like right away. 2, have her still singing songs about him like years later. This is 2007. This is 3 years later. And I don't know if we might cut this, but
don't.
I saw a tweet that was saying, and of course on the internet, everybody knows somebody who knows somebody, but someone was saying that they had a friend who knew a singer, Marc Anthony, whose wife locked herself in the bathroom crying on their wedding night because she wasn't over her ex, and she thought like it was a big mistake, like that she got married. And I mean, it takes a lot, I feel like, to stick through that. And either he just really fucking loved her and was like, we're gonna make this work, you're gonna get over this. And I feel like maybe that's it. Like, he was like, get it all out. Like, get it out. Be done with it. I'm going to give you like I'm going to give you a 10-song limit. You keep talking about Ben. And after that, cut it out. Okay. But
Okay. All right. All right. I give you credit there. That is a true point. He did have to be very secure within himself and the relationship, like following that's
yeah,
hard. I'm not saying following Ben Affleck necessarily is hard, but just following the like saga of Bennifer in general and being the next man to like step up to the bat and be like, okay, ugh, I hope that our relationship isn't going to be torn apart by the media or, that, this woman who clearly has, rightfully so, a broken heart and some unfinished business that he can confidently step in and be like, I love you and I'm here for you and I want to advance with you in our career and have children with you and stuff like that, r- despite the fact that she has gone through this trauma.
yeah,
Because it's trauma, you know?
yeah. And I mean, I don't think I've read her book now, and I definitely can see that their relationship was not perfect at all. But I think Jennifer Lopez, she said, maybe I went through this big heartbreak to find the person I'm supposed to be with. And she's very
Mm,
optimistic in that sense about marrying Mark and stuff. And she's like, I
okay.
have to see this through. I want to make it work. I don't, she also felt like a failure. I don't want to, like, having married Mark, like, I don't want to not get divorced for the third time. Like, oh, JLo got divorced again. No, go figure. Or like she couldn't
Yeah.
make it work, and that pressure alongside it. So I definitely feel like they both definitely wanted this to work. It was not a perfect union, or it wasn't some romantic love story that we might think Bennifer is more like a rom com or you know, fairy tale kind of love story, whereas this is like the gritty love story that you're like, I think this is it. Maybe, maybe not. But you know what? We love each other. Maybe this could work. Like,
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a good point. I
I
mean,
don't know.
especially from her perspective of now having being twice divorced,
Mm-hmm.
and now also probably gaining this notoriety about changing, not changing, that's not the right word. This gaining this notoriety about a pretty fast turnover rate within her relationships, or just being in relationships where it's like go hard, go fast, that you fall for each other very quickly and you fail for each other very hard.
Yeah. And I want to say, like, reading her book, I think, like, people who criticize her dating life, which I see all the time, people like, oh my gosh, she needs to be alone for, like, a while and stop jumping from relationship to relationship. She knows that. Like, she's very
She's not
aware.
dumb. Yeah.
Yeah, like she has said it in her book herself. She has said that she's ignored like red signs. She has said that she had low self-esteem and was very much a pleaser and like what can I do to make them love me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So she's not perfect, and this is like probably her biggest flaw as a person is like not being able to get love right. But on that note, I would like to address a beautiful song, which is the title of the album, Como Ama Una Mujer, which is kind of about her desire to love um, and not really like give up that sense of love and just embracing that like romance. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like she says, maybe because I have only been one who has been in love with the moon, that alone has been my sin. The one to follow my heart everywhere, follow my crazy heart everywhere, and I have loved like a woman loves. And I think like it's a curse, man. It's a beautiful curse because
Yeah.
I don't have that much patience and love seeking in me. I'm just like, this should not be this hard. Like, so
Truly. And
deuces.
she kind of sees, I mean, at least with some of the other lyrics, sounds like, I mean, You just said it. She's self-aware, she's not dumb. She knows that, you know, she she has these patterns in relationships. But with the opening verse of perhaps I've hurried to walk, continue to walk without seeing the steps, or like to watch where my feet have going, to leave the wounds that are not healed. That
Mm-hmm.
she's like, it almost sounds like she's saying like, I heard on too fast. I like didn't let myself heal. I didn't really like watch my steps as I was going, but I just like kept moving forward without realizing where I was going. You know, it's a there's a lot about this album that's very like self-realization, that it's not so much about I love you, you're perfect, but there it's more about like I fucked up. I'm not perfect, but I'm gonna keep walking anyway. Should just keep going.
Beautiful remix.
Thanks, thanks. Epic Records, please don't copyright me for for the likeness of the song. We don't have enough money to go to court. Please just leave us be.
All right. Any closing thoughts on Como Ama Una Mujer? May I ask you what's your favorite song or songs on this album?
Yes. So I love a good ballad. I mean, I love dance songs, but I love a good ballad that I can listen to. And I was telling this to Bria on my way home today, that I have, you know, been playing this album a lot. And the other night, I had a really late night and had driven out to Sacramento for a friend's wedding, and we didn't leave the venue until way after midnight.
Wow.
And so we were all kind of tired. And you know, we talked about the night and everything, and I was like, you know what? If it's okay with you, I'm gonna play this Jennifer Lopez album, and I think we should all just like be quiet and listen to it. Because this event that I went to, it was my first experience at a sangeet, which is part of a ceremony in an Indian wedding, and it's this kind of like pre-celebration that like marries both of the families together, that like they're welcoming in this like blended family. But it goes really long, and it was a lot of like really loud dancing beats. And then keep in mind it's 2021, we're still pandemic times, but a lot of us have not been out and about in a long time. And so this is the first time that I went out dancing. And so when I left the banquet hall, my head was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Like after prom.
Exactly. Or like when you leave a concert, your ears are just like,
I'm the
just
old
so
lady now who
loud.
gets earplugs at the first aid station at
Oh,
concerts.
definitely. Oh, if I have when I go to my next concert, I'm gonna need earplugs for sure. But for this dance party, you know, I just did what I could, but like we could still feel the beat in our little, like, you know, when you have a headache and you hear the you feel like the do 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 do
Oh
do
yes,
like of your pulse.
I've come home after concerts and laid down and my ears are just like ringing and my face is just like pulsing because like
Yes.
of everything. So absolutely.
So, very long story short, that was the vibe in the car on the way home. And I was driving Kevin and our old roommate, Alan. And yeah, I just said, if it's okay with you, gentlemen, I'm going to put on this album and we're all just going to be really quiet.
That's very teacher of you.
Yes,
This is
yes.
silent time, okay? SSR, sustained silent reading. Okay.
Sustained silent listening to JLo. SSLJ. Low. If we ever get big, we need to put that on a t-shirt. Sustained silent listening.
We don't need to get big. We have sweatshirts. We can wear it our damn selves.
And so to answer your question, Bria, about like my favorite songs when I was driving home, one that really stood out to me was Two. Um,
Mm.
and I liked the chorus of it, and I just liked the some of the messaging behind it. Let me just look it up super quickly because I
Oh
want to
yeah.
make sure that I get it correct.
I will say that too is, I believe, originally an Italian pop song. Like, I think it's a cover.
Oh, no way.
So that might lend a little bit to why you like it. And
Oh,
I also
interesting.
imagine that because Jennifer Lopez says that she envisioned singing this to a child, that it has some kind
Okay.
of very loving feeling into it.
Yeah, you, always you, all you. So it just felt, yeah, it's like giving your all to that person that you're singing it to. And um, I just really loved the build up to it. And it had less of what some of the other studio albums had, which not necessarily good on my mind, but there's a lot of like long drawn out cymbals in the drums. So
Mm-hmm.
like I feel like someone's playing the drums but they're not hitting the drum part. They're just hitting the cymbals on the drums really loud.
Can
And
I
I felt,
play it? Because I'm blanking on like what it sounds like.
of course.
Two is very like Coldplay ish to me. Like,
Mm,
I don't know, it sounds like a stadium song in a way. Like, it's very big but
yeah.
simple.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a great choice.
Thanks.
Um,
Thanks. Yeah, that was pretty. I mean, not the only song that I liked, but that's definitely one that stood out. I mean, of course, it's easy to like the singles like Me Haces Falta and Que
yes,
Hiciste, but I guess my next favorite one would be the title of the album, Como Amo Una Mujer.
that's a good one too. I mean,
Did you have a
uh,
favorite? Because you didn't talk about yours.
besides the singles, like Don't Be Obvious, I really liked Adios. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I like the like audience or choir chorus like of that. Like, it felt very big. Like, I could see like candles and like people like in the crowd. Like,
Like the background clapping noises and stuff.
like it's like people are singing in a crowd
Yeah, yeah.
like that. Like, I really liked that part of it, and I thought it was really beautiful. And then, I mean, Porque te marchas is just the Spanish version of Can't Believe This Is Me from Rebirth. So I was like, this beat sounds familiar, but this isn't.
Mm.
And I looked it up, and sure enough, I was like, oh, hell. I know what this is about.
Oh shit.
So I did like that in Spanish, but also Sola. Um, it's it's very like mellow, like, which is par for the course because I do love songs like Secretly and what's that song from On the Six? It's the second song. Should Have Never, like those
Oh,
soft
uh-huh.
R&B songs. So I really liked Sola on there, and I mean, it's another song that the lyrics are just like.
Mhm.
So on that note, let's wrap that up in a bow and let's move on to 2007's Brave.
Let's do it.
So Brave came out October of 2007. Woo woo. Um, Definitely not her strongest album.
No.
Wasn't wasn't critically like, it had mixed reception, and I've read some critic reviews that I was just like, wow, okay. um there's one that I where is it? Okay, so Alex McPherson from The Guardian. The intro of the article says, the idea of a Jennifer Lopez love album is a strange one. It is hard to see why someone who has traditionally excelled as a cold eyed robo diva super brand would choose to replace this strength with the notions of soul and human emotion. And I was just like, pause. Where have you been,
Yeah.
homeboy?
You weren't even there. Okay, the person who wrote this article did not understand the assignment because they clearly were just thinking about like waiting for tonight or like, like her more dancey, more controlled studio
But
hits.
I mean, her first single ever, If You Had My Love, is that not about love? That, and it's funny because in her book is called True Love, which she talks about, like, this is a great title and topic for me to write about because so much of my music is about love. And the book really is about her tour that she put together, and she's like doing the tour and putting together like the set list and everything. Like, I realized how many of my songs are about love, like going through and trying to pick stuff. So like,
Hmm.
where the hell has Alec McPherson been this whole time? Like, has he listened to her other albums to say this? Like,
Clearly not. He did not do his research.
he goes on to say that while marriage may have made Lopez happier than ever, the production bounces with positivity, it has not diminished her capacity for being a diva in the slightest. And I'm just like, it reminds me of like
Hmm.
people, like movie reviewers, when they're just like, they just want to paint her as this like super complicated like diva. Like,
Yeah. Okay, so we've learned a lot about Jennifer throughout this podcasting process, and had we not, and I read an article about that, or I read Alex's article, then I would have agreed with him. But I disagree in a lot of those things because in this time she had really stepped away from the spotlight and she had really become very more private, and
thanks to Marc.
thanks to Mark, but she also has her children and she is making a bit of a shift
Oh,
that
she hasn't had kids yet.
oh, okay, all right, redact that statement. So she, she's stepping away from the spotlight. We do see her also taking a step back from movies, like in our last movie where we had talked about the backup plan, which was 2010, but then we had to skirt and like redo these albums because we realized that in this kind of moment in time, she's taking longer gaps in between some of her big projects. And to me, that doesn't say diva.
Yeah.
That means either like self care or growth or doing something else. And
Trying
if,
to
if,
figure out
if,
marriage for once.
yeah, trying to figure out your fucking love life. So, like, if diva means self-care and like going to family therapy or like couples therapy or whatever her and Mark had to do to like get on the same page, then like I don't want to know. I'm glad you're reading this. I could do you have anything else from the interview before I continue to shit on this person that I have nothing to know about?
No, not from Alex McPherson.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I don't know, again, maybe it's just because a dude wrote it and it's like we need to get more women music journalists out here.
Yeah. I mean, I think there are some who reviewed this album, but going on, it's just that critically, like, people were either, this is her like her strongest album to date, or this is really formulaic and bland. And I'm sorry, but I land in the latter part. There are songs I like, but I do think like a big thing for me with music, and especially music nowadays, is like, I feel like if I feel like a song could have been sung by somebody else, it's like that's a problem. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and there are people I love who have turned out great works like Usher and Confessions and 8701, who have made songs like Oh My God, where I'm
Mm,
like,
mm, mm, mm,
anybody could have
mm,
sang
mm.
that. Like, Neo could have sung that. Like, it wasn't a Usher song to me. Like, it wasn't individualistic in that way. And I just think that's of this era where we have a lot of dance songs that are trying to, cater into the EDM wave that's slowly happening and stuff, where it's just like, Usher's doing songs like OMG, and then you have the Black Eyed Peas doing Boom Boom Pow and stuff like, and
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer Lopez doing stuff like a lot of the stuff on Brave. So you have Lady Gaga like Poker Face, I think probably was around this time. So
Yeah, just about a year after or so.
yeah, but this sound is like
For sure. Oh, yeah, 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 for sure, for
making its
sure.
way around the music industry, and it's not very like individual, like Kesha also, but like she took that and made it her own, like. But anyways, so um the album performed underperformed commercially. It became her first album to miss the top 10 on the Billboard 200 chart, and it also missed the top 20 in other countries like the UK, Australia, and it only sold 650,000 copies worldwide, which is not that hot. So
Interesting.
that's not first week sales. That's just like total at that point. I'm sure it's sold a little bit more by then, but yeah, not a huge success.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also in that Jason Rodriguez interview from MTV where she was talking about Mi Haces Falta, she says that the next album, which is Brave, is more of what people, my fans, are used to, kind of a dance, funk, R&B, hip hop, all that stuff all mixed up together to make some great pop music. Basically, it's just danceable music, which that is
Yeah.
the line I want to focus on. This album is just danceable music.
It's
That's
danceable. Yeah.
yes.
Absolutely. And that's like sometimes you just gotta let movies. Sometimes you just gotta let albums be like not so much about this passionate, sensual bubble bath feeling, but just like dancing on away, honey, no, moving on a burn, tonight we're gonna get on the floor. Like
But
it's
see,
just
that's the Love album, and that album I think does the
oh
dance like
shit.
electro stuff well.
Okay, all right. Sorry. I missed some. I got too ahead of myself because Love is 2011, right?
Yeah.
So,
No, okay,
oopsie
so
doopsie.
so starting this, I obviously knew what Como Ama Una Mujer was, but I totally didn't realize Brave even existed.
I know,
Like,
yeah. We had to re-record the outro of the backup plan a few times because we're like, okay, so we're gonna do Como Ama and Love, and then we're like, oh no, like there's another one we gotta do.
because I listened to Love and I was like, wait, where's Do It Well? What album did that come from? And then I saw Brave and I was like, oh, this thing. but um but yeah, it is total danceable music. Nothing really to write home about. I do want to talk about the music videos, which I didn't know existed, which I'm
Hmm.
surprised about because I was definitely watching music videos at this time. But Do It Well to me is a big departure of the kind of music videos we see from JLo. It kind of has well, Get Right has a storyline kind of, but it has a storyline and she's like going to save this boy in this S&M club, and she's like
Hmm.
she pushes this guy down the stairs, and then there's like this dance break. I just want to say that Jennifer Lopez always looks well, as we always say, but the mid-aughts like fashion still does nobody any favors.
It
Like
really doesn't. I mean, you can put Jennifer Lopez in a paper bag and I'll be like, damn, she's rocking that paper bag couture. But agreed, every time something else comes back into style that's from our childhood, I start to get really nervous that like the mid-aughts fashion is going to come back. We can't. We can't. We've progressed too much as a people.
I mean, I saw one of my coworkers, their kid, obviously, first school starting. They post their sophomore, and she has flared jeans on, and I'm just like, like, why?
Yes,
But
and you and I just sent each other those memes of like, y'all really want to go back to flared jeans? You remember rainy days and how much of a pain in the fucking ass it was? Anyways, you can cut that. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But
but okay, so the looks for Do It Well, I'm like, I don't. I feel like the mid-aughts is like so heavy, like makeup, dark makeup,
Yes.
metallics, lots of layers and clothes, chunky jewelry and
Yeah,
stuff.
it heavy a smoky eye.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, smoky eye. Like,
This dark eyeliner underneath with like a smudge. Dark eyeliner on top with a smudge. Fucking forget about eyebrows. We're not touching those yet until like 2010s at least. And then lots of your makeup was a few tones darker than your natural skin tone.
yeah.
So,
So I I feel like Jennifer Lopez looks best in very simple, clean looking things. So,
yes.
like I said, this really does nothing for her. I did notice, and I don't know which video came first, but I did notice to me she looked a little different, and I was like, was she pregnant by now? And she very well could have been very early in her pregnancy, which makes
Oh.
sense to me as to why she only did two music videos, and this album doesn't seem to have a lot of promotion. Like, I think she performed a few times at a few places, but there's no big award show performances or anything. Granted, this album wasn't a hit, but still, she's JLo. But yeah,
Yeah.
I just think that maybe this is when she got pregnant. So
So, come to think of it, did we see a lot of pregnant Jennifer in the media and press? Like, do you remember seeing her pregnant at like award shows or being
um
like publicly, because first of all, being pregnant with twins, that's like a whole other separate
yeah.
thing, but I don't remember her because there's lots of celebrities who get pregnant and you see them at like award shows or
Yeah.
they'll like host SNL or they'll go
They
on
do like cover shoots
cover
showing off
shoots.
their pregnancy.
Oh God, I'll never forget Beyonce's, but and like yeah,
Oh,
all the of course.
the one with her twins. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes, that
Uh
one. Serena Williams, Demi Moore's really
oh,
set the
very
tone for
famous.
those.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Cardi B.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cardi B.
Yeah.
Or like, going on talk shows, like going on,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what the guy, I mean, Conan O'Brien was still there during that time. This was before Jimmy Kimmel. This is before all the Jimmys, but I'm trying
Yeah.
to think.
She hasn't been on David Letterman or Jay Leno in a hot minute. So, and we're
That's true.
slowly trudging into where we're going to get into Ellen territory with interviews. So,
Uh-huh.
no, yeah, I don't remember seeing her a lot, like, until she was, like, pretty much ready to, like, give birth. I remember seeing her when
Interesting.
she was, like, really full term. I was like, damn, JLo's pregnant. But she was having twins, so she had two babies in there. In her book, she talks about, I think she introed Mark, or it was some award show where she kind of came out for the first time in a while and she was very pregnant and she got like a really good loud applause, and so she felt like, oh wow, like that made me feel good being pregnant, because usually you don't feel that hot. So
No, and kind of backtracking to what you had said earlier, which it's everyone has the right to be in their feelings and feel their feelings and stuff. And of course, it's easy for common folk like us to look at Jennifer Lopez and hear comments about her being self-conscious about herself and be like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like, you're one of the most beautiful people in the world. Why are you feeling self-conscious?" But that doesn't mean she's not allowed to feel that way.
yeah.
So, if she's already conscientious, whether that's about her like physical appearance or just about her stability in her love life, then yeah, I can definitely understand not wanting to like publicly come out look being pregnant.
And I think she was on tour with Mark, or maybe that was after
Like
she
he
had the
was touring
babies.
and she was going with him to support him.
Yeah, she's very much playing the role of doting wife, so I don't think Brave really stood a chance. I think I don't mean that in a shady way.
No, 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 no. But it wasn't necessarily a passion project or like
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like I'm gonna do an album because that's what I do, but
Not to say she didn't take it seriously, because I do believe Jennifer, like,
Always, yeah.
yeah, she takes her shit seriously, but
I also think she went too far out of her wheelhouse because there's lots of producers on here she never worked with before. So,
interesting.
I mean, I understand, trying to do something different, also chasing the trends, but at the same time, it's like such a departure from what we're used to. But at the same time, it's setting the tone for what we get with Love, and I think eventually, AKA, I've never listened to that album, but I believe it's still very dancey. Um,
I think that's just been her MO the last 10 years
I feel like
of
that's the easy way to go as you
it's
get older as
yeah,
a
it's
musician.
easy Euro pop. You collab with like the fun up, like the current people, whether it's Pitbull, DJ Khaled, um
Calvin Harris.
Calvin Harris, like these people that are going to help you produce like really fun club jams.
Yeah.
And I mean, no shame to that game. Backstreet Boys have always heavily relied on Euro pop dance hits. Their fan base is bigger in Europe than I think it is in the US. And so they kind of tend to, as they've gotten older, have catered more to that crowd.
Yeah. Which, I mean, hey, get your money, baby.
Do
Like,
what you need to do to stay relevant, I guess, as long as it's not cringy.
I would love her to make another R&B album and give
Yeah.
give us another Spanish album because I think
Oh,
we could
well, you
sell.
know what, Bria? Let's do fingers crossed that as this current trend is happening with Bennifer 2.0, maybe there are like unreleased songs or bonus tracks or things that never made the final cut for This Is Me then that she'll re-release.
I also would like it on vinyl, so let's make that
Oof.
happen too.
Yes.
um, so the second single was "Hold It, Don't Drop It," which has a music video, which to me screams this time because it's in this like white studio. She's in this dress. She has like an old school microphone. She has like three guys behind her on platforms dancing. It's kind of very old school, but it also reminds me of My Love, Justin Timberlake and T.I., and obviously
Oh, ain't
Beyonce's
nobody
Single
gonna take
Lady.
it for my love. To
Yes.
my love.
As problematic as Justin
I
we have
know. Future
pointed.
Sex Love Sounds was just like fuck,
Yes.
bop after bop after bop.
That and 2020 Experience just
Oh yeah, yeah,
because not the second part of that, but the first part of that
yeah.
is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, so that music video screams 2007 to me. It's like white, empty studio space, lights, metallic, whatnot. Nothing super. Um, I don't know. Nothing super impressive or like, oh wow, that's innovative or different. Like a Love Don't Cost a Thing or
Mm-hmm.
plays that was very done to like Spaceship, you know.
Well, that was also like on the cusp of 2000, where everyone thought that in like 10 years we would be in flying cars, and Baba Booey, were we wrong
We
about
were
that?
Xenon Girl of the 21st century. No, we were not. But Love Don't Cost a Thing. What else? I'm Real. Those are very iconic
Yes.
videos. These videos, not so much. Let's get into the songs. I had like 5, 6 songs that like I was like and am like excited to hear once I get to them. There's a bunch of songs to me that seem like filler songs, not interesting subject matter. Again, danceable, but just like I could do with or without these songs.
Mm-hmm.
um, I I want to talk about the first song, "Stay Together," which I think is I think we've finally gotten the turn of Jennifer Lopez, Mrs. Marc Anthony, because this song is about being married and working it out. And it's very kitschy in being like, oh, breaking up is so passe. Staying together is the new trend. And that's what's cool. And that's what's hip.
Did you hear that, kid?
So I think that's a cute song. I think it's a great intro song. I think also, this breaks the, well, I think This Is Me then breaks the tradition of her having her singles be her first song, but this is the second album that does that. So, Do It Well isn't until number 4, and then Hold It, Don't Drop It is, I think, number 3.
Mm-hmm.
So usually she's had her singles be her opening songs, but I like Stay Together. I think it's a great opening song. I think the other songs, unlike like where Rebirth, where I felt like some songs were out of order or like they didn't flow well together, or JLo, you have like that really hard like hitting top 4 songs, like all her singles in the beginning, and then you kind of switch to like her more mellow R&B stuff later. Like this album is pretty consistent sound wise throughout, but it's just that most of the songs are just like take it or leave it filler tracks to me. So
Mm-hmm.
those are my general thoughts.
Yeah. No, I agree with you with that one. This album's not as like memorable, I guess, as some of the other ones. And I don't know if that has to do with the fact that she did 2 albums in one year, and it seemed like Como Ama definitely took more time, precedence, and thoughtful thinking over
Yeah.
than Brave did.
Maybe she
So
just wanted to have fun. She's like,
fuck
I
it.
poured out my soul enough in Kamama. Let's just have fun. Like, and I can respect that.
Totally.
But
Yes.
this is going in the bottom of my JLo CD pile. Like, I like Do It Well. I liked it when it came out. It definitely wasn't a song that I was like, oh, JLo has a new song. I'm gonna listen to her
No.
album, or I didn't even
Mm-hmm.
know it had a music video. But it was nice. It definitely is the single of the album. I don't know what other song she could have chose to be the leading single. This is it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
um, and I want to point out too that it uses a sample from the Eddie Kendrick of the Temptations song "Keep on
Oh.
Truckin'," which the beginning, the intro, like with the, I don't know, the strings, horns, and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When I heard it, like it makes me want to listen to Mr. Cheeks, Lights, Camera, Action. And
Uh-huh.
I was like, wait, that's not the song. And I was like, but so I had to look it up, and they sample the same song. So that is why if you listen to this, you're like, wait, no, okay, that is why. Same song.
Okay.
But there's other songs with samples in it that I really like Gotta Be There, which samples the Jackson 5. So that
Mm-hmm.
immediately like notches it up for me. I'm like, oh yeah, I like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I liked Be Mine. I don't think it's a great song, but I think the melody is good. And then Wrong When You're Gone. Oh yes. I don't really like that song, but I do think it's about Ben, or inspired by, heartbreak and stuff. And then also there is, I totally skipped this. How did I? So Never Gonna Give Up is a really important song on this album because
Never gonna give you up. Just kidding.
you just got rickrolled on the podcast.
Bitch.
I really like this song. It does make me think it's about Ben, but in her book, she talks about this song because it's like a halfway point, or I want to say it's a closing song to her concert, but it's an important song in her show because at that point, she's like, this song embodies that, I'm not perfect. I'm still looking for love, and I'm not giving
Mm-hmm.
up on it. Like, I still want the fairy tale. I still want the happy ending and all that
Sure.
stuff. And this song sums that up. So it's an important part in her show. But, yeah, I really like this song. I like that the beginning is like slow and it has like these beautiful strings in it, and then it like the beat kicks in, and it punches it up a little bit. So those are like my top songs of this album. Um, any similar or any different? No.
Yeah, I don't know. Unfortunately, I'm really sorry, y'all. I did not do that great of a research for this album. I kind of put more focus into the other one because I was
As
just
you
having.
should, because it's the better album. But yeah, so I have a question for you. And I think
Okay.
this is easy. So, sorry it's
Okay.
not that interesting. But keep one, toss one, Brave or Como Ama Una Mujer?
Oh, I'm tossing Brave. You?
Same.
Okay. Keep one, toss one. On the six, JLo.
Why would you do that? I'm
So,
keeping JLo. There's
okay.
too many hits.
Okay.
Okay, this is a better question since it's
Okay.
not as easy.
Okay.
So
Okay.
far, the albums that we've listened to,
Mm-hmm.
rank them one through
Mm.
5. Yes,
This,
6.
yeah, yeah, no,
1 through
five.
6.
Five.
6. On the 6, JLo, This Is Me Then, Rebirth, Coma Ama,
Oh,
Una
fuck. I
Mujer.
forgot about Rebirth. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. JLo number one. On the six.
Mm.
Rebirth. No. JLo. On the sixth. This Is Me Then. Como Ama. Rebirth. Brave.
Okay, so Brave's at your bottom too.
Yeah, it's not that it's bad. It's just maybe it's because I'm getting a little bit past like the nostalgic part, so the album doesn't have as much significance and meaning towards me, but that doesn't mean it's a bad album. Like you're gonna have a good time listening to it, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where it's okay. It's just a little forgettable.
Fair enough. But you did put Rebirth above it, so.
Maybe because we had a lot of fun talking about Rebirth.
We were also. Were we drunk? I think we were
Very.
drunk. So.
We were having a good
And a
time.
lot of it was really about Bennifer more than Rebirth.
Yes.
So, for me, I'm gonna go JLo, This Is Me Then, on the 6, Como Ama Una Mujer, Rebirth, and then Brave.
Okay. Okay.
I really like This Is Me Then now. Like, I like On the 6, but there definitely are, like, This Is Me Then, I could listen to that from beginning to end, no problems. And On the 6, I can do that, but there are songs that I'm, like, less interested in.
Okay.
I also would like to blame Bennifer for my renewed interest in This Is Me Then. That's an album I definitely don't have any nostalgic. I don't really have any nostalgic ties to any of these albums as a whole. I do singles and stuff, but that era I still was very much into JLo, but I
Mm-hmm.
had never listened to that album before, so it's interesting that I really I'm able to like really get into these like in such a short amount of time. Um well, I don't have anything else. Do you?
If you could be a fly on the wall for one recording for any of these albums, but for the entire recording, choose one album to be a fly on the wall for. It doesn't have to be your favorite. It could be any album.
I hate
Hmm.
you. Okay. Well, I mean, I think the juiciest one is Como Alma Una Mujer, but then part of me is like, I hope I understand what they're talking about. Like, if they were talking in Spanish the whole time.
There's
But
another there's another fly over there. You're like, do you know what they're saying?
yeah, I think that one would be the most interesting. Just again, just like what we've talked about with like Mark and songs that we think are about Ben, and that whole like process of like how happy could he have been and stuff. I would love to say This Is Me Then, but I feel like it's very obvious Jennifer Lopez was in love and very happy, so I would probably, as a fly, be like, okay, we get it. Like, they're like, damn, another song? Like,
Oh shit.
but we might get some, there might be some tea in the room for Kamama. So
There might be.
that's my answer. Brave was probably like fun but not interesting. And then I think JLo would have been fun because like she was definitely riding a high then, so I can only imagine like
Jenny from the Block. Oh wait, no, that's nope. Sorry. Let me redo that. Love don't cost a thing. Sorry. Bum 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 boop.
But yeah, so I'd be interested a little bit to see that process, and then I mean it might have been interesting to see on the 6th just because it's like her first album, so like just like little baby JLo like getting her feet wet in the pool, but okay, cut all the me rambling out.
No, don't.
Kamama Una Mujer is my answer. What's your answer?
Fly on the wall for Kamama.
Yes.
I don't know. I didn't come prepared already. Sometimes when I ask you questions, I already know what my answer is going to be. I generally didn't have an answer for that one.
How dare you?
I know. I'm sorry.
Do any of my reasons like speak to you or
No. Yeah, your reasonings absolutely make sense. I don't think I would choose. Excuse me. I don't think I would personally choose my number one choice of the JLo album, to be the fly on the wall. But maybe it's just because now I'm so brainwashed with Ben Affleck that I'd want to be a fly on the wall if he ever like popped into any of those studio recordings to be just like, buzz. What's going on here?
That's a good reason to do This Is Me Then. Possible Ben Affleck action. Who cares if the songs are about him? Like, oh my god, Ben Affleck's here today? It's a great day to like squeeze through the window.
Yeah, seriously. I'm gonna die if I don't get outside soon, but like I will go down with this ship. I will put my fly hands up and surrender. Buzz. Baby,
I love you.
Could you see the flies like vibing on the wall, like washing its little grubby hands together, like buzz, yes.
As annoying as flies are, I think they really have leveled up in terms of the hypothetical world because they are the inanimate objects we joke about like being. They literally have that opportunity of just being in a room and being like no one's like, I mean, it's very well possible you could be any other bug in a room. Like, people have spiders. No one's like, if you were a spider in a room, like, hanging out in your web, you know, little daddy long legs. No one hypotheticals, you know, spiders. No one's like, hey, if you were a colony of ants, like, where are you trekking to? Like, where, and ants can get anywhere.
Well, if I'm just in a colony of ants, obviously I'm doing my day-to-day activities. But then it begs the question, what's the purpose of life? I mean, what's even the point of what am I even doing here if I'm just supposed to wake up every day and do my job and go back? They're not thinking about music.
You know how to get me.
I know.
I hate you.
No, you don't.
There's nothing I do that makes you laugh like that.
That's not true. You make me laugh all the time.
No, like this.
Just the other day we were laughing about being the eyes on the cheese and I nearly pissed my pants. It was fucking funny. And then the other day you sent me those gifs of nasty water slides and then I was like, all right, fuck you, stop doing that. And then you're like, and you're out of here.
Okay. Well, I still don't think it's the same level, but you pull out Woody Allen anytime. Like, oh my god. But yeah, flies, bad reputation, but celebrity in the bug world.
Celebrity.
How come there hasn't been a fly movie, like Bee movie,
There,
Ants, A
there
Bug's
has
Life?
been a Fly movie, Bria. The Fly, starring my baby Jeff Goldblum.
Really? I've
Have
never
you not?
heard,
Okay, that's
seen.
your weekend homework. You're gonna watch The Fly. It stars um Jeff Goldblum, and then Gina Davis is his
I love
female
Gina
co-star.
Davis.
She's just God, I
Where did
love
she
her so
go?
much. I don't know, but I just miss her strong jawline. I just love her so much. But yeah, I'm not going to tell you what it is about. Obviously, we're going to cut this part out of the show, but it's a really good movie. It's one of my favorites.
Okay. Well, I'll put it on my watch list. I don't know if I can get to it. I have other stuff to do. I have podcast shit to do.
All right.
um,
Have it on in the background when you're working. It's a fun one.
I'm just joking. I'll probably watch it. All right. Well, I mean, it's almost your time for date time, so I don't have anything else to say. Shall you outro us and
Oh, it
wrap
would
this
be
bad boy up?
ramp this little bad boy up. Yeah, let's do it. All right, everyone. That pretty much sums up our episode today, as we have talked about Jennifer's two major studio albums, Brave and Como Ama, in the year 2007. Thank you for sticking with us as we take a slight detour from the movie world, but we cannot wait for you to join us next time on our next full-length episode on the 2010 movie What to Expect When You're Expecting.
Yes, and on that note, this has been another episode of
Roll call.
and
This is the
what
way.
the hell is the stop recording? First of all, I almost freaked out. I was like, did I press record this whole time? It's here. We have recorded.
No, I've been seeing it in the upper left corner. You